only way to get real estate listings is if you can get homeowners to want to list their homes with you, which makes persuasion the highest leverage skill for real estate agents. Tons of research has been done on how to become more persuasive by playing into the hardware psychology of the human mind by people like Nobel Prize winning scientist Daniel Kahneman, psychologist Robert Cialdini, and billionaire investor Charlie Munger, who have made this information accessible through their books and other information. What I want to do in this video is to show you the 5 effective ways hundreds of our real estate clients have used these concepts to get more listing clients. Tool number 1 is reward and punishment super response tendency. This is by far the most powerful factor that influences people's decision making. It means that people don't ever take action without a reason or an incentive. People always move away from pain and they always move towards pleasure. So what do we eat, right? Because we feel the pain of hunger, but we also feel the pleasure of taste. Why do you work, right? Well, if you don't work, you're gonna get punished for it. Or if you work, you get rewarded for it. And almost everything we do is guided by this exact tendency. So in any sales and marketing that you do to get other people to do certain things, for you to get more real estate listings, right? Emphasize the benefits of working with you. Show them where they'll end up at the end of their transaction and how their lives are gonna improve after that. And at the same time, show them what they'll miss out on and what they put at risk if they don't work with you. Here's a quick test you can run through right now. Look at your most recent marketing. Look at the benefits and the missed opportunities you're communicating in your marketing. Then put yourself in the shoes of that local homeowner after seeing that marketing and imagine you asking yourself the question, why would it be a good idea to work with this realtor? The answer should be something like, well, it just makes perfect sense financially. I'll be able to get the maximum price for my home, and by working with you, it makes the whole process just so easy. I'll be able to sell my home according to my timeline needs, and also I can be at ease knowing that I won't be making the mistakes that can be very expensive or even go homeless in between buying and selling. So if you haven't clearly communicated the end benefits, but also the punishment of those different things, and the answer is not clearly that as a result of that, you can dramatically increase the effectiveness of your marketing by working on your compliance of this reward and punishment bias. And when you're doing this, persuasion requires a lot of repetition. So what I mean by this, it's not enough for you to create like one post or one postcard or something like that. Hearing this thing needs to be 10 times or 100 times that these people hear it, and it's gonna be 1,000 times more effective than just hearing it one time. And that's also partly why social media is so powerful tool. We just market to people over and over again. As with traditional methods, it can be very limited in terms of the frequency of that. Tool number 2 is consistency bias. People tend to remain consistent with their past beliefs and past actions. A good example of this is political beliefs. If a person holds certain political beliefs, they're likely going to remain consistent with those beliefs for a long period of time. So just imagine you went up to somebody and you asked them to completely invert their political beliefs, it just wouldn't happen. Or imagine if you wanted to find a person to marry. If you went up to the street and asked people to marry you, you would get denied every time because it's simply too inconsistent with their past beliefs and actions. And this leads up to the big mistake most realtors are doing when trying to get clients. In their ads, in their mailers, in their social media posts, they ask directly people just work with them, which is kind of like going up to the stranger just asking them to marry you to an extent. So if you wanted somebody to marry you, you probably first just say hi, right? Get to know each other, maybe go on a date, then the next date, then the next date, then the next date, and eventually you would get married. So if you wanted to get the big yes from a person, and for you specifically in the real estate business context, would be that listing agreement and also referral after that, right? Get a small yes first. This is one of the reasons why this value-based marketing and lead magnets work so well. Step by step, get people into your sales process instead of asking the big ask up front. Tool number 3 is liking and disliking tendency. People naturally like people that like them and people that are similar to them. So somebody may actually choose to work with a realtor simply because they share a common hobby or have a similar personality, even if another realtor is logically more qualified and a better fit for selling the house. How likable you are largely determines the over-perception that people have about you as a person. There was a study done on this where they investigated how people's overall impressions of a person's traits could be influenced by their likability. They showed groups of people different videos of a woman who acted differently in different videos and then asked them to evaluate her level of intelligence, integrity, and so on and so forth. The people who saw the videos where her behavior was warm and friendly, they ranked her higher in intelligence and integrity, amongst other things. So people tend to attribute positive qualities to those they find likable. And so as a realtor, you can leverage this by letting the real you shine through in your videos instead of trying to act a certain character or being sort of like too polished in your videos. Share your personal stories of those events that have shaped you to become who you are today, about the things that are important to you. Let people see your values, compliment people, and always be positive. That will make you more likable. Now, people also like people who are willing to sacrifice themselves to give to others, so show that side of yourself as well. Now, you can apply this everywhere from your social media posts, to emails, to ads, to website, and obviously you're just in-person, regular conversations. Tool number 4 is social proof. People look to the actions, beliefs, and opinions others have as a guide to their own. It's an evolutionary mechanism that helps us to learn fast and make decisions fast. Imagine you go out to grocery shopping in a new mall and you see two very similar grocery stores next to each other. The other one is totally empty, no people in it, and the other is full of people. You're likely going to go to the one that has a lot of people, the full people mall, because your mind automatically starts telling you it is the better store, simply because there's a lot of people in it. So here's how you can use this principle and this really bias we have to get more real estate listings. Include social proof everywhere. Put up your reviews high up on your website. Post your client success stories on your social media. Add client success stories to your drip campaigns. Blast them out as email broadcasts to your database. And then add them to your ad campaigns. Show what we call an omnipresent strategy, listing presentations. Talk about the successful client stories on your calls. Explain to people how other people have achieved their exact real estate goal by working with you. Now, linking this back to the first tool we covered, which was reward bias, when you now leverage the reward bias and now you tell the homeowner that you can sell their home for the highest possible price, they're gonna naturally doubt that and they'll be a little bit skeptical. And that's totally normal, exactly how the human mind works. But when you show them the social proof, you show this client, this client that you've helped to get that result, it's gonna crush that doubt and allow you to leverage the bias to the fullest extent. Tool number 5 is authority bias. There was a wild study where people were instructed to give electric shocks to people by an actor who dressed up into a lab coat to look like a scientist. Now, they started out by giving a very, very mild electric shock. And then the guy in the lab coat told them to give more and more powerful, strong shocks. It showed that these people were willing to follow orders from an authority figure even when it conflicted with their own moral judgment. If Warren Buffett gives you investment advice, you probably take it right away. But if a random guy on the street gave you that same exact advice, you would not take it. The reason why it's so powerful, it's not because that the authority says something persuasive or something like that in terms of the actual words they say, but because people put fewer filters and accept the things that they say as they are, which means that having the authority framing and having the authority bias in play, which really allows you to be more persuasive by default, independent of the message you're saying. So how do you get the homeowners to perceive you as the authority figure? You show your credentials, show your awards, knowledge, and your track record, third-party social proof like features in local newspapers or podcasts. Be the one to explain to people what the changes in the real estate market and economical environment means for them when it comes down to selling their home and moving to a new home. And to be seen as an expert authority, you also need to look like the expert authority.